Hello and welcome to the Treehouse. This is Kag with another View from Above tarot reading. And this one will be for Thursday, August 8th, which is also known as Lionsgate, which is an astrological date. And so if you're curious about that, I am not an astrologer, so I can't really comment on that too much, but just to say that if you search out there in the YouTube videos or on Google or any of those search engines, if you do Lionsgate, that will take you to a number of places where you can find out more about the energies around Lionsgate. Probably because it's the 8th day of the 8th month, and we are in Leo season. And so that's what that's all about. So today we're going to do a reflection spread for Thursday, the 8th of August. And I have deeply shuffled these prior to starting this video, so I'll just give it one last shuffle and we'll cut and we'll look at the reflection for today. If you've watched the previous videos, then you know that we had some chaos on Monday, and then we had having to hold steady on Tuesday, and Wednesday's reading was some forward movement. And so this will be interesting to kind of see what's in the cards literally today. I'm using the Centennial deck as opposed to the Radiant Wise deck today. Remember, I don't read reversals, so if this comes up with any reversals, I'll turn them around. And also, you may find that not all of these cards or my comments resonate for you, but take what is helpful to you and leave the rest. So here is you today. Five of Swords. The Five of Swords looks a little worse than it is. And when we have a card that has people in it, frequently what we want to do is to look at the card for our current circumstance and say, well, which one of these people is me today? So this fellow is picking up the pieces of something that has happened. And this fellow looks like he's not too happy about it. He's got his back turned to this guy, and then this guy way in the back looks like he is really pretty unhappy about what has happened. But everybody has dropped their swords, and this fellow is picking them up. Sometimes this card can mean, especially if you are this person, that you are ready to just put up with what anybody else says about you, right? Who cares what you say about me? I'm doing this anyway. Or it's picking up the pieces after an argument, for example. If you're this guy, then you're probably really sad about what's happened. And if you happen to be this guy, you're like, yep, we just have to walk away from this argument. As I've said, frequently this will be an argument, but it also can be a decision made to say, I'm not going to let other people tell me who I am. So however that resonates for you today. This is our challenge card, or what crosses us. And the Queen of Cups is someone who is really intuitive, who understands the emotions of other people and is very good at taking care of her own emotions. This is sometimes considered the self-care card. And I would guess that after an argument, you would want to make sure that you are okay. You would check in with your own emotions to be sure that what had happened, you understood what had happened. And if repairs need to be made, then you think about doing those. Or maybe it's about taking care of yourself after you have been criticized. And that could also be what this card is about. So your subconscious, wow. Okay, the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is one of those difficult cards, frequently talked about as the anxiety card or the depression card. And what it is depicting here is the stress that we feel in the middle of the night when we wake up. I didn't do this, or I forgot to do that, or I did this dumb thing. But whatever, this is a mindset where you are just ratcheting over and over about something that you have done or something that you haven't done, and could be very much related to an argument or an exchange of word or a criticism that you may have received on some level. But this is that card of just turning it over and over and over and not actually doing anything or even being able to do anything about it as you try to integrate that, whatever has happened here. And so hallmark here is the self-care. What do you need in order to be okay? So let's look at the past influence. And the Queen of Swords is someone who knows exactly what she wants. Sometimes in relationship readings, she'll be considered the divorced woman, but I don't really like that characterization for her. I look at her as somebody who is willing to say exactly what she thinks, willing to cut the cords if that's what's necessary. So as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, was there something that you might have said or thought that caused an argument that you're now having some remorse about? We've got two queens here. And while these can both be parts of you, and cards are not gender specific, they're energy of the cards. So if you are a male person, identify as a male person, you could still be having these kinds of feelings, even though they are represented in the tarot by female queens. It's interesting that these queens are facing each other. That isn't always significant, but maybe in this case it is. I'm still thinking that these two cards are parts of you. If you said something, or perhaps somebody else cut something out of the relationship and you are feeling kind of badly about that. So this looks like an argument to me, actually, or else something that you shared with a bit of a sharp tongue that maybe you have some regrets about. What's on your mind? The Magician. The Magician is the card of making something real. It's taking all of the elements, you can see them on the table. He's got them right there, and he is able to take all of those elements and create something new with that. This is the beginning of the major arcana. Right after the Fool is where the Magician comes. He is card number 1. See the little one up there, and he's got both the white flowers of non-corporeal beings as well as the red roses of corporeal beings. So something that is spiritual or mental, and something that has some resonance here, some actual matter here in this reality. The Magician card is also a card of control. And to look at both sides of this card, you can be thinking about over-controlling something, and that may have something to do with this anxiety down here, or it's being controlled by somebody else. So that, take it as it resonates. But I think we've got a consistent story here. On your mind is, how can I control whatever this was? Because that is what is maybe coming up for you anxiety-wise here. So let's look at where this energy is going into the future. So many swords in this reading. The Page of Swords is the youngest member of the court, and probably the least capable isn't the right word, the least experienced in wielding that sword. You see, we can't even see the tip of it, so we don't really know exactly where he's going with that sword. But he knows something, he has some clarity about it, but he's not quite confident in the way that she is in wielding that sword. So that this energy tends to be a little vulnerable, maybe. Frequently, the Page of Swords is somebody who is really good about asking other people questions, but not wanting to reveal much of his own story. So this whole situation here may be contributing to your feeling somewhat vulnerable in some other relationships, and a little bit cautious about what you say or how you say it, because perhaps that hasn't gone so well in the past. So I think we have a fairly consistent story here. We've got 4 swords. That is a lot of sword energy. And swords are words, and they are clarity, and they tend to be a little darker than some of the other suits. But you are cautioned here with the Queen of Cups to take good care of yourself in the midst of whatever is happening here, as you continue to try to manifest something that was on your mind earlier that may have contributed to this situation. So let's look at the Merryweather card and see what we have for this. And oh my gosh, okay, we are talking about the Ten of Swords. Whatever this is about, we have come to the conclusion of this argument. And if it hasn't concluded now, it will be shortly. I do want to point out that although this looks pretty dire, this Ten of Wands signals the end of whatever this cycle is. And it's a pretty dramatic ending. You can see all those swords are stuck into his back. It's over. He does have the position of his hand here is that of the Hierophant giving a blessing. And so whatever this has been about, you have come to the end. The dawn is coming up over those mountains and the black clouds are clearing. And as we are in this place, you have a mindset to move forward. We are at the beginning of the major arcana here with this card. The end of a cycle here, you're moving into something new. So whatever has happened in the past, it is over. And what a relief. You have some control over the situation going forward, but you're going to be a little cautious about how you wield that sword going forward. So it seems like maybe we might want to look a little deeper on this particular card. So I'm going to ask for a little clarification on that Ten of Swords. Sometimes when things aren't particularly clear, well, they feel pretty clear to me at this point, but we'll just get another couple of cards just to give us a little more, just to maybe a little more clarity on what's going on with that Ten of Swords. What is it that's over here? So I'm going to just move these cards over to the side just a little bit so that you can still see how they are, but we want to ask, what is it about that Ten of Swords that we need to know? Just briefly. We will ask for the main card and its clarifiers, and again, we'll look at the bottom of the deck. The Ace of Wands is a blessing. This is a new idea. This is a new passion. This is new, something new that's coming out of the end of this cycle, whatever this argument or this issue has been. And it really ties together with the Magician, which is making something new. I want to go back to the Magician for a second. You can see that he's got his hands in two positions pointing at heaven, whatever heaven means to you, and then the earth with the other. And the phrases that we think of with the Magician are as above, so below, as within, so without. And so he's got the, I forget what that is called, but that figure eight, the eternity symbol over his head, which is ultimate wisdom, right? And so as above, so below, as within, so without. Whatever this new blessing that comes as a result of the end of this cycle, you are going to be able to put that into play. Little clarity about this new idea. Wow, that is so interesting. When we do clarification with a second card or the second deck, when we get repeating cards, that's significant. So this new idea, this new opportunity that's come at the end of this is going to continue to give you some anxiety. And there's some fear of loss over here. The Five of Pentacles is about fear of losing some kind of a resource. Sometimes it's about money. Sometimes it's about stability. It's sometimes about being left out in the cold, which actually makes some sense if you think about this argument. This is perhaps just another clarifier for whatever this argument was about, or this trial was about. You may still be feeling a little left out, and that is what happens when something ends. We do feel a sense of loss, and you may still be feeling some remorse about what has happened, or some anxiety about what has taken place. But again, this has given you an opportunity to move forward. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Empress. The Empress is about birthing something new. She's pregnant in this card. And one of the other tarot readers that I listen to frequently talks about the Empress as being the one who births children and empires. And she's very significant. Her card follows the Magician in the Major Arcana. So out of all of this is coming an opportunity for something really positive and expansive for you. As blessed by the determination and this passion and idea for whatever this is that you want to bring into fruition and its expansion. Growth is not easy. Change is not easy. And that is certainly what you've got going on here today. What we both have, you and I both have going on today, if this is for the general collective. So this is a tough reading, I think, but we are able to leave it with some positive thoughts. So again, I want to just caution you to take what resonates for you and leave the rest. Take good care of yourself in the midst of all of this. Know that you have some control going forward and that expansion is on the way. So I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I will look forward to welcoming you back to the Treehouse here at View from Above Tarot next time. Take good care and blessings.